Your brother-in-law has 4 rental properties. He mentions this at a frequency that suggests he believes you forgot since the last mention, which was 14 days ago at a different dinner table in a different city with the same glass of wine. The arc always begins with the housing market and ends with equity and passes through the moment he looks at you and asks if you are still doing the index fund thing. You say yes. He nods the way people nod when they have decided that is slightly beneath their sophistication. He has a tenant in Aurora 3 weeks late on rent. He does not mention that. He mentions appreciation. Leverage. Depreciation, used correctly, with an accountant at $3.40 an hour because 4 properties in 3 states is not a simple tax situation. You have $1.4 million in a brokerage account. He does not know. If he did, he would ask which properties you bought. So you have the index fund conversation instead. And you let him nod. Real estate wealth is visible. It arrives at dinner with stories, cap rates, cash out refis, essentially printing money when a refinance funds the next down payment. Index fund wealth is invisible. There is no story. There is a number that updates on the first of the month without anyone narrating it. The dinner table respects what it can see. It assumes the visible path is the only path that produces the destination. You have never called a plumber at 11 p.m. for someone else's toilet. Never had a tenant 3 weeks late who is technically within lease rights. Never managed depreciation across 3 states. That absence is not laziness. It is a different product. Real estate is an operating business you own. An index fund is compounding without an audience. The trap is not that one fails. It is that only one gets applause. At 31, everyone around you was buying property. Not just a home. Investment property. The second one. The one that would pay for itself and then some. The beginning of a portfolio that by 50 would mean rents cover everything, properties keep appreciating, and leverage amplifies returns in a way a passive brokerage account cannot replicate. Your friend David bought a duplex at 32. House hack, live in one unit, rent the other, let the tenant cover most of the mortgage. He talked about it constantly. Cash flow. Cap rate. BRRR. Words that arrived simultaneously and deployed with missionary energy. The path looked real. The path was real for David, mostly, for a while. You looked at it carefully. You ran the numbers on a duplex in his neighborhood. The purchase price was $340,000. You had $68,000 for 20% down, enough to avoid PMI the way the book said. The mortgage at the rate that year, $1,640 a month. Market rent for the unit you would not occupy, $1,100. The remaining $540 comes from your salary, plus taxes, insurance, and a maintenance reserve every honest landlord calculation includes and every enthusiastic landlord conversation omits. Real monthly cost to you, $940. $940 a month to own something that required your physical presence as a landlord, your credit as guarantor of the debt, your evenings when something broke, and your emotional involvement in the financial lives of people who did not share your interest in whether the furnace was maintained. That was the honest number. Not the dinner table number. The number you would actually live with. You put the $68,000 in the brokerage account instead. You did not feel certain. You felt the pull of David's path. The leverage argument was compelling. Appreciation in that market was real and produced outcomes your index fund did not replicate on the same timeline. You were not certain you were right. You were certain you understood what you had chosen and why. That is different from certainty about the outcome. It is more useful as a foundation for 17 years of not second-guessing every cap rate speech at dinner. The real estate versus index fund debate is not a math debate for most people at 31. It is a lifestyle and total cost debate dressed up as spreadsheet certainty. You picked the structure you could hold without becoming a part-time property manager you never wanted to be. You kept adding. $1,200 a month €1 what the duplex would have cost above rental income. You treated the index contribution as a fixed expense the way a mortgage is fixed, except no tenant's silence on the 15th determined whether the payment happened. The payment always happened. Raises went in. One bonus went entirely to the account instead of the overdue kitchen renovation. You did not replace the car when the lease ended and invested the payment difference. At 8% average annual return over 17 years, the math produces a number that does not require real estate leverage to matter. The account crossed 1 million at 45. You noticed on a Sunday spreadsheet update, weeks after it happened, without celebration. By 48, 1.4 million. No property. No tenant. No vacancy month. No certificate of occupancy. No security deposit dispute. No conversation with a city inspector about the deck. David has 4 properties now, not the duplex. He sold it again, rolled equity into 2 single-family homes, added a 4th with a cash-out refinance on the original's euro leverage working as designed, and higher debt loads than when he bought. Gross rental income, $8,800 a month. Net after the property manager at 10%, mortgages, taxes, insurance, maintenance, and the vacancy allowance his accountant insisted on after Aurora sat empty 3 months, about $1,400 a month. $1,400 from 4 properties, $1.9 million in purchase price, $420,000 in equity invested, 17 years including 2 evictions, 1 roof, a foundation issue, and a 3rd property that cost $22,000 to remediate. His equity today, roughly $680,000. Real. Significant. Illiquid. Requires a sale, an agent, a timeline measured in months, and a tax event his accountant is already planning. Your 1.4 million converts to cash in days. No agent. No buyer. No closing negotiation about who pays for the inspection. Withdrawal at 4%, $56,000 a year without a tenant paying on time, without a vacancy month, without a plumber. David's $1,400 a month is $16,800 a year from 4 actively managed properties. This is not an argument that David was wrong. His properties are real. The equity is real. The cash flow is real income from real assets built through real decisions over 17 years. The index fund's advantage is not always return. In favorable markets with intelligent leverage, real estate can produce superior returns. The advantage is what the return does not cost: monthly management load, legal exposure, liquidity constraint, geographic concentration, dependency on local conditions, the 11 p.m. plumber. Real estate returns are gross of all that. Index returns are net because none of it exists. This is not a math debate. It is a total cost of ownership debate. Real estate advocates run optimistic inputs. Index advocates ignore leverage. Honest math on real properties with real vacancy, real maintenance, and real management fees produces results closer together than either side admits at dinner. The choice is not which wins universally. It is which one you understand well enough to hold for 17 years without the table changing your conviction. David narrates Aurora again, late rent, grace period, whether pursuing it is worth the relationship with a tenant who is otherwise reliable, whose departure means vacancy and cleaning fees. He is not complaining. He is proud of managing complexity. You are not arguing real estate is wrong. You are arguing it is not the only path that produces the destination. You took a different path. No addresses. No cap rate conversation. No Aurora. The dinner table will have the same conversation in 14 days. You will eat. You will let him nod. You will ask how the other properties are doing. The index fund does not need your presence at the table to keep compounding. That was always the point. If this reframed the rent versus index fight for you, watch the full breakdown on Plain Money. Comment index or keys which path fits your life. Subscribe for more honest money math without the flex. Educational only. Not financial advice. Pick the path you can hold. Then stop auditioning for a dinner table that only scores what it can see.